great morning this morning, and hopefully you're staying well, staying safe, and enjoying this week. I know the weather's gotten a little bit cooler, folks. We knew it was going to happen eventually. So hopefully you're having yourself a great week at staying warm and taking care of what you need to take care of. I am so happy to be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with you every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, as I mentioned. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as inside of their double-decker cafe on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, where you can go to their drive-thru. So make sure you go out to Cafe Kubal today. If you're watching and listening anywhere else around the world outside of Central and Upstate New York, you can go to cafekubal.com and have their wonderful masterpieces that are made right here in our community sent to you. Their coffees are on there, as well as their shirts and so much more. cafekubal.com. That's Kubal. So make sure you check that out. Inside of MonPausPopcorn.com is what's poppin'. You know, on a Wednesday, we separate the show into two videos, and that is because our fantasy football content is a show within a show. So what we're going to do here today is we'll start off the broadcast momentarily inside of MonPausPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' with an all-new AD and DT featuring Athletics Director of LeMoyne College, Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. We'll be having a show on successes, starts, and updates. We'll update the reclassification and realignment conversation we've been having for half a year now. Anything about realignment and reclassification that's been sent out to the public has come through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora first when it comes to LeMoyne College. And I want to thank Athletics Director Bob Beretta, as well as President Dr. Linda Lemira and all of LeMoyne College for allowing me the opportunity to do that and for allowing me the opportunity to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of LeMoyne College. So we'll provide an update. From there, we will talk about the successes of LeMoyne men's soccer. I just had Tom Bonus on for a bonus, pun fully intended, edition of the Dolphin Dive, and Tom and I had the opportunity to speak on their NE10 tournament victory, as well as the season thus far, and to get ready for the game coming up tonight against Adelphi on the road at Adelphi in Garden City, New York, here on November 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow along on LeMoyneDolphins.com. So go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, click on men's soccer, and you can follow the game today as they look to move forward in the NE10 tournament playoffs after getting a playoff victory a few days ago. Now they have an opportunity to go today. And you can listen back to my conversation with Tom Bonus by going to any one of our outlets, and I suggest you do that. And make sure you download us, save us, keep us on all of these: Amazon Music, as well as Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Get all of them today. They're all free. And you can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So you can connect with us on every single one of those. And you'll be able to pick up my conversation with Tom Bonus, which is the latest episode that has been added to it. So make sure you check that out today. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. And on the homepage, if you scroll to the bottom, we have our Podbean feed, and that Podbean feed will have the conversation with Tom Bonus as well. So make sure, whatever you're doing, you check us out on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Download us, save us, keep us, and tune in on all of these outlets. I thank you so much for everybody who's involved themselves over the years with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It means the world to me, and I genuinely cannot thank you enough for all the love and support, the kindness, the generosity, and your time. So much appreciation for all of that. So we're going to be speaking with Bob Beretta today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and an all-new edition of AD and DT, which airs every first and third Wednesday of each month inside of Dolphin time, to start off Wake Up Call at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So Bob will be joining me momentarily as we speak on, like I said, LeMoyne men's soccer successes, the successes of LeMoyne women's soccer. A fantastic season. They came all the way to the brink of getting into the playoffs this season after all of the tough things they've had to deal with, multiple coaches that they had. Some of these players, a lot of these players, had 3 coaches in a short span of time, and interim head coach Jaro Zawislan stepped in with his staff and did a tremendous job. I want to shout out the entire staff of LeMoyne women's soccer and every single student athlete on the team, everyone that decided to come back, all of the newcomers and all of the undergrads that were on the team. Thank you for everything you've done this season. I came to numerous games. I was always proud of this team. Very happy to see the work that you've all put in. Played well against teams that were ranked in the nation's top 25. Got themselves to the brink of the playoffs after being a team these last few seasons that's only won a couple games a season. They knocked on the door of the playoffs, which shows what we're setting up, hopefully, for this upcoming season. So big shout out to all of the wonderful student athletes on the LeMoyne Dolphins women's soccer team. We'll be talking about that with Bob. And, of course, we will talk about what's coming up this week on Thursday, November 3rd from 4 to 5 p.m. You can go over to LeMoyne College and go to Ted Grant Court and usher in and celebrate the LeMoyne women's basketball season with Mary Grimes, her staff, and the whole team. Very excited about that. And then you can head over to the Dome a couple hours later, Thursday, November 3rd, to see LeMoyne women's basketball face off against Syracuse women's basketball in an exhibition game featuring Mary Grimes, Felicia Leggett-Jack, and their incredible teams. Very excited about that. And we'll talk about LeMoyne men's basketball and Nate Champion and the team that he has coming into this season, as well as the Fall Phins Frenzy review as Carvel, DeWitt, and PB&J's Lunchbox are on site on location for an event to celebrate Senior Day for LeMoyne men's and women's soccer right after my birthday on Friday. My birthday was on Friday, October 21st. The event, the Fall Phins Frenzy, was on October 22nd, that Saturday. So we'll discuss all of that with Bob Beretta, and then we'll jump into our second video of today and the second part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning, which will be fantasy football advice on all Week 9 games, and that's proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. So, with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with an all-new AD and DT featuring Bob Beretta inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', and we will have the opportunity to share all of that information that I had stated before with you in celebration of numerous programs inside of the athletic department of LeMoyne College and so much more, including an update on realignment and reclassification, which you will find here and only here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Syracuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. Welcome here to an all-new edition of AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director of LeMoyne College, Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT. We're happy to be here with you on campus, on the Heights, here at LeMoyne College, right here in Syracuse, New York. Bob, as always, welcome.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. So, very excited. We have a lot of different topics to get into today, and all positives. A lot of great things coming up at LeMoyne. So we're going to hit it first and foremost with, I know the question that people have been asking. We've been chronicling for about half a year now. Everything that, thanks to you and thanks to Dr. Linda Lemira and LeMoyne in general, anything with realignment and reclassification, you've sent through our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. So you can go back and watch all these videos on the LeMoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and searching LeMoyne. So you see all the conversations we've had and every single piece of the way to where we are today. I've had some people ask, because I know the last couple of weeks it's been quiet, so would love to get any thoughts you have on reclassification realignment.
Surely, Dan, and it has been quiet. You know, we've done a tremendous amount of work over the past 6 months internally here on campus. Our committee met 27 different times. And right now, the landscape nationally is quiet, so we've dialed things back a little bit. I'd say our committee work is almost done. It's nearing its conclusion. We're going to meet again in the middle of November and just exchange thoughts and monitor where things are at nationally. But I'd say from a LeMoyne standpoint, we're poised. You know, we're poised to move forward with the process once we feel like things are moving nationally. So we're just gonna kind of sit tight right now. We had a meeting with the Board of Trustees in October, just to give the board an update on where things stood, the work of our committee. But of course, anything moving forward, our committee would have to get back together, reconvene, vote in favor of a recommendation to move this to the president, who would then have the agency to move it forward to the Board of Trustees. They would call a meeting and then discuss and ultimately vote on it. So we're in a holding pattern right now, and a lot of it is based on what's happening nationally.
Yeah, and you and I prognosticated this, right? That there was going to be a quiet period for reclassification, realignment. We talked about that months ago, and also, as you spoke about with the committee, getting together, giving their recommendation, bringing it to President Dr. Linda Lemura, and then her bringing it to the board. So none of that voting has happened yet. And so everything that we've told you about for the last couple months continues on here as we await those opportunities. And as I've said before, if and when those happen, you can be sure that they will be right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership on the Heights with LeMoyne College. With that being said, I have something to throw in here. I know that you, through LeMoyne, I have wonderful LeMoyne swag. And I look very well, especially when I'm traveling. I throw it on there. I bring it out to Magic Kingdom and to Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, people all over the world getting to see the dolphin. But I will say that I went over to the bookstore and cannot believe, and I did this silently right before my birthday, didn't tell anybody I was going. I was like, I'm going to get myself a birthday gift. And I don't have a LeMoyne sweatshirt. So I went out and got one of the LeMoyne sweatshirts that's green and gold, just very, very nice. And then found like a hockey-looking jersey that they had as well. So I'm decked out, I'm warmed up, and I've been rocking my LeMoyne sweatshirt. So I do want to shout out the bookstore, because you have a lot in there, and I've traveled to bookstores around the country. Some have like, oh, I can have that gray sweatshirt or that black one. I can have that hat or that hat. You have a lot in that bookstore, so I got to give you some credit for that.
Yeah, it's run by our friends at Barnes & Noble, and we have some options in there. It's a small space, but lots of gear in a small space. So, Again, we're trying to make the most of whatever we have, and you can get lots of dolphin gear, lots of dolphin swag out there, whether it's green, black, gray, white, but always with the dolphin. And if you're around campus, swing by the corner there. It's right by the new Keenan Center for Entrepreneurism, and we have our bookstore still in that same location, and lots of great dolphin gear available.
Yeah, and I got it. I preempted my birthday and got it so I can stay warm. So I got the sweatshirt now.
Excellent.
So good for games outside. And speaking of that, the soccer team continues. The men's soccer team continues inside of the NE10, and they have a game today, as we're talking Wednesday, November 2nd. They have a game later on tonight in Garden City, New York, up against a team that they've already defeated in recent history here. And we got to see that right here at Ted Grant Field not too long ago. So very, very excited about what's coming up, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, click on men's soccer, and make sure that you follow along and watch this game. But I'm ecstatic for Tom Bonus. He was on the show yesterday giving his thoughts, and always love having it, and pun completely intended. It was a bonus Dolphin Dive episode, so I utilized that, and Tom and the team have been great. He spoke about the leadership and brought up a bunch of the guys, including Bryant Perdomo, who was my first Dolphin Dive guest here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, and a guest when he was at CNS. So shout out to local staying local. So I'd love to get your thoughts on the men's soccer team as they won their first game in the NE10 playoffs. And they got another one coming up tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, we're excited, Dan, as you can imagine, to reach the semifinals of really one of the top Division II men's soccer conferences in the country, and the women's Division II side as well. Both soccers in this conference extremely competitive, and as you stated, LeMoyne defeated Adelphi here at Ted Grant Field just a couple weeks back, handily, 3-0 victory, a 3-0 victory. Played extremely well, and I'm so proud of this team, because we talk about teaching life skills and life lessons on the fields, on our athletic fields, and this team has learned how to deal with adversity throughout the season. We have 6 players out with season-ending injuries. I've never been around a soccer team that has suffered so many season-ending injuries. And we've just had player after player step up, fill new roles, offense to defense. We're on our 3rd center back. We have players that received limited minutes on the field for the majority of the regular season that are now receiving 75, 80, 90 minutes. So I'm very proud of their resilience, the resiliency, the tenacity that they displayed, the grit, all the things that we hope athletics instills in our young people. I think it's on display with our men's soccer team. So goalie Josh Marsh has been fantastic, local product, Fayetteville graduate, and he's been outstanding between the pipes for us. We hope that we can spill another upset here tonight at Adelphi. LeMoyne's the number 7 seed, and incredibly, Adelphi is the number 6 seed, and they beat the number 3 seed. But the standings were so tight in the Northeast 10, really from 2 to 8. Only a few points separated those different places. So we expected this to be a free-for-all. Franklin Pierce has had an outstanding season atop the standings as the regular season champion and the number 1 seed, but we knew getting to that final was going to be an opportunity for whoever was playing best at that moment in time, and the fact that we've reached the Final Four in this highly competitive league is a tribute to Coach Bonus and the leadership displayed by our young men.
And the next man up approach and that resiliency you spoke about, and knowing that LeMoyne came in as a 7 seed, beat a 2 seed to get to this next round. So, like you said, seeding really doesn't matter. They say when you get to the postseason, no matter what sport it is, everybody's 0-0, and you get to duke it out and see what you can do. And some of these decisions in these games were so close. Remember that LeMoyne, because of the rules change, there's no extra periods in the regular season, so LeMoyne had 5 ties. And speaking with Coach Tom Bonus of this LeMoyne Dolphins men's soccer team this week, he said 3 of those 5 he considered to be really, really good. He's like, listen, we're the only blemish on Mercyhurst's schedule. We're a blemish to Franklin Pierce. So to do what he's done and to have this team perform the way they did and do it through injury, Terrence Chrysler Howard, who's been on the show as well in Dolphin Dive, he had to sit out due to a concussion at a point this season. So we've seen these injuries, guys come back, and all this ebb and flow in different pieces of it. And to see those 5 ties that could have been decisions, right? If we had played these games through, and now we can see what's LeMoyne going to look like where there has to be a victor. Another new rule that Tom Bonus brought up, which is very nerve-wracking, like this past game. When you score in the first extra period, you have to play 2 extra periods. Right. It's not like, pro soccer out there that we're seeing, like you're watching the World Cup, and you score in the extra period, it's like, hey, okay, good job, and let's move on. But there is no sudden death. You have to play both extra periods. So LeMoyne scores with 1:18 left on a penalty kick, and then still has to play that final 1:18 plus 10 minutes, which is not right. So it's
nerve-wracking.
It's very nerve-wracking. If you're the other team, it's great. But if you're in LeMoyne's case, you just are like, hey, we were up 2-0, then it's 2-2, let's get out of here and call it a day. But credit to the defense, Josh Marr, who had, I believe, 4 saves in that second extra period. So.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping it was a golden goal situation after we scored that first goal in the first overtime, but again, another tribute to the grit and determination displayed by these young men.
Yeah.
Southern Connecticut scored the tying goal with 2 minutes left in regulation, and that can be crushing.
Yeah.
And our young men went out and fought and earned that penalty kick, and we were able to convert that. Jack Goodrich scores the goal that puts us on top 3-2, and as you mentioned, then we have to go through another overtime period to survive that and get out of a place that was really difficult for teams to go in there and be successful. And in the regular season, we tied Southern Connecticut, and then, just this weekend, we go down there and get a huge win, a huge 7-2 upset in the NE10 championship. So really proud of and excited about tonight's contest. And I don't want to say it's house money, but I feel really good about how they've rallied. 7-5 going into this game, and very easily could be 10-3 on the season with a couple of ties. So they fought. They've displayed the spirit that we hope for all of our athletes here at Moyne, and hopefully they can get out of Garden City with another victory tonight.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the game, and as we said, 3-0 against Adelphi here at Ted Grant Field less than a month ago. And so just a few weeks back, and now we get to see this matchup again, and make sure you go to LeMoyneDolphins.com to follow it closely in real time. As one season looks to continue into the postseason, we have seasons coming into fruition, and we know that LeMoyne men's basketball has found its way to the Dome in the last few years, and we know that after Steve Evans led a team into the Dome Syracuse didn't want to play LeMoyne men's basketball. Well, now the women's basketball team is going to be in the Dome this week, and very excited about this. Thursday, November 3rd, we will see the women's basketball team led by Mary Grimes in her second season as a head coach in general and a head coach at LeMoyne. She will lead her Dolphins into the Dome. Felicia Leggett-Jack made the phone call, and I spoke with Mary Grimes in the edition of Dolphin Dive just a couple weeks ago. You could definitely go back and check that out on the LeMoyne tab at wakeupcalldt.com with all of our coverage, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Had the opportunity to speak with Mary about it. She said Felicia made the call, and she said sure. So we get to see LeMoyne and Syracuse in the Dome, but this time women's basketball. And I'm very excited as Felicia starts off her stint as the head coach of Syracuse basketball for the first time ever, and Mary, in a similar story, coming back to a program she knows all too well, and being a head coach here, and doing that now for her second season after in her first season at LeMoyne, making the tournament. So incredible to see these two wonderful women in the community go after it on Thursday.
Yeah, it's really historical, Dan, if you think about it. You talk about diversity and how important diversity is in all of sport, but here at LeMoyne, Mary Grimes is the first African-American to serve as a head coach in any of the sports at LeMoyne. And now Thursday night, she's going to be going up head-to-head against someone she knows really well, and Coach Jack, obviously an African-American as well. So I think that's historical from that perspective. But we're really excited to get the season started. We lost some tremendous seniors last year. That senior trio was tremendous. And, we feel like we've reloaded a little bit. We had a scrimmage this weekend against Geneseo, and Mary was really excited about the performance of our young kids. She's got a young nucleus that has come in here and really energized the program, and we do have a core of returning players that we feel really good about. So I think it's not like LeMoyne's going to sneak up on people. LeMoyne's had tremendous success under Coach Castelli and now under Coach Grimes, and I think in the preseason poll, LeMoyne's selected third. Even though we lost such an incredible core to our program, I expected us to be farther down in the rankings. And I think that's a tribute to Coach Grimes and the continuity, her connection to Gina Castelli, yet also the expectation of excellence in the program.
Yep.
They expect there not to be a blip. There's going to be this continued excellence across the board. That's what we're striving for in all of our programs, and we feel like we're positioned really well to continue that excellence in women's basketball. Really excited to see it tomorrow night at the Dome. That's going to be a fun way to kick off the season, a great experience for the ladies in our program, particularly the freshmen, their first game in the Dome of their college, first game of their college career in the Dome,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens. It's a talented team, we know that, but I expect our ladies to go in there and fight. And we're going to have a team send-off in the event center here, so anyone that would like to come out and help support and be part of that on Thursday, you're invited. We'll have some light refreshments, and our dance team will perform. Coach Grimes will speak, some of the players will speak, and then we'll send them out off onto the bus in rousing fashion as they head over to the Dome just a few miles down the road.
Yeah, very excited for that. And what time can people expect?
Yeah, that would be important if I included that. So our reception, our send-off will be from 4 to 5 in the event center lobby, and no admissions. Just come on out, be part of it, be part of this experience, this movement, and support our ladies as they head over to the Dome and what will be a historical matchup for our women's basketball program.
Yeah, very excited for Mary Grimes to have this, and 4 freshmen coming in and a transfer. So we're a lot of new faces to LeMoyne, some returning faces to LeMoyne, and we can expect this team to get after it because Mary and her coaching staff, Joanna Dabrowski, was just on the show. Coach Joe Dobro, as she calls herself. Coach Joe was on the broadcast as well in another edition of Dolphin Dive. So very excited about the energy that they bring and the seriousness and just everything that goes into it. I'm excited for this team. I have been a fan of LeMoyne women's basketball since I returned back to Central New York and met with Gina when Gina first came in. So I was with Gina sitting right outside of Ted Grant Court. It was a white circular table with the folding chairs, and she told me what she wanted to do and what she was hoping for. I remember that day, and I sat in the same room the day I met Bob Beretta, and I sat in that same room the day that I met Mary Grimes, and got to speak with them all. So there's something to be said about the Heights, something to be said about that lobby going into Ted Grant Court. A lot of history there for me personally, and very excited for the history that Mary is going to be able to have with this team.
Yeah, we're going to play a little different style of ball. You know, she's injected some more athleticism into the program. Mary wants us to play a five-out type of offense, so lots of threes. We feel like we have some players that can really dominate the perimeter and really get up and down the floor. So I don't want to mention any names. I'll leave that as a surprise for Thursday night. But we have some players when they're out there. You got to keep your eyes peeled because they're athletic. They're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to apply pressure, and they're going to shoot the three ball. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, very excited for that. And final notes, I know we've talked about the soccer team continuing on. We've spoken about basketball teams ushering in this season here. Excited for Nate champion as well for the men's basketball program. And we've talked reclassification, realignment. Any other notes you'd like to make?
You know, just we touched on women's basketball, and the men open up on the road the following weekend, which is the weekend of the 11th through 13th. I think our women are home on the 11th, and then again on the 13th, and our men are on the road that weekend at a St. Rose's Invitational. But our men have gotten off to a great preseason start. They went to Mansfield a couple weeks back and dominated a scrimmage against Mansfield, and then hosted a really talented school out of Canada a week ago on Friday. And McMaster is a school out of Canada, and they had played Oregon really tough. I believe that it was a single-digit loss to Oregon, and we went out and dominated that game. It was 20 points quick, and I think the final margin was 15 or 18 points, but we played really well. It's a fun team to watch. Coach Champion also has done a great job bringing in some direct talent, but did a great job introducing some players from the transfer portal, because we did lose some players from the portal, and some Division I talent out there, and then the development, the continued development, and more than anything else, the health of our returning players. We had several players last year. We were just ravaged by injuries, and now to see them healthy and a year older and a year stronger and a year more developed in this system, we're going to be fun to watch. Now, athleticism on the men's side, you're going to want to come out and watch us at Ted Grant Court, because we have some high flyers out there on the men's side.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun, and I know Ted Grant Court all too well, so I look forward to seeing you in the stands for that, and continue to support. And if you can make it out tonight to Garden City, go out and see the men's soccer team. I want to congratulate also the women's soccer team. These student athletes went through 3 coaches in a few weeks' time. It felt like just a few, like it was one to the other, and Jaro's not even close or even a thought last season. So I do want to thank Jaro for all the work that he's done, and knowing him beforehand with Syracuse FC and whatnot, very happy that he came here and that these women rallied together, and this team has been wonderful. I've gotten to meet a bunch of them, speak with a bunch of them, and I couldn't be more proud of the women's soccer team here at LeMoyne as well.
Yeah, I was so happy for them, Dan. And you mentioned we went right up until the last day of the regular season with a chance to play for a playoff bid, and we found out, unfortunately, before we got on the field last week against Pace, we had an evening game, but the results didn't fall in our favor, and we knew when we stepped on the field that we had been eliminated from postseason contention. But to be in that conversation on the last day of the regular season from where that program was in August without a leader and not knowing who was going to get us through the season, and to see how they developed and notched, I think, 5 wins overall, and right in the thick of postseason contention until the very last day. Very proud of those young ladies. Again, talk about grit, talk about tenacity, resiliency, dedication, all those things. So really proud of how our individuals have performed on the athletics field this fall, and I think that the future is certainly bright for both of those soccer programs, and now with basketball season kicking off and our winter sports, our swimming programs going, it's an exciting time here at the Heights.
Absolutely, and final note, the fall Phins Frenzy went on as well, and we got to celebrate, and I know that I got to have some of my other partners here, which I'm very excited about, and got to see them out here. And it was a great day, a perfect day. It was the day after my birthday, October 22nd, and God cleared the skies, boosted up the heat outside, and it was great food, great atmosphere, great games, and ultimately just a wonderful day.
Yeah, it really was, and thanks to you, Dan, for helping arrange those partnerships here and bringing Carvel and PB&J's Lunchbox here on campus. It was a tremendous opportunity for our students, not just our student athletes, to get to have exposure to those great vendors and great people here serving the community. But it was a wonderful day. Excellent results for us. Both the programs had the women had a tie that day against a team that was pretty sporty. It was a well-earned tie, and the men with a big victory. So great day, great way to celebrate the fall, and hopefully we'll be able to build on that in the winter.
A lot of great stuff coming up on the Heights, and you can be sure it'll be here first. For AD and DT, Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College, myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT. Proud to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and as you know, every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time is Dolphin Time. First and third Wednesday, AD and DT. Second and fourth, the Dolphin Dive, with stories from coaches, administration, student athletes, future Dolphins, and alumni. So we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Come send off the women's basketball team to the Dome this Thursday, tomorrow, November 3rd, from 4 to 5 p.m. And as always, Bob, fins up.
Fins up, Dan.
Talk with you soon. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicoli's.com. That's myaviccollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a tremendous morning this morning, enjoying your day, enjoying this beautiful Wednesday as we are halfway through this week and we are already in November, folks. So happy November, because that is where we are today. Crazy, right? We're already in November, October. My birthday just happened, October 21st. Today is one of my wonderful, I have so many nieces and nephews by the grace of God and fantastic friends. And my niece Ari, today is her birthday, November 2nd. Today is also my grandmother up in heaven, Gammy Miller. Happy birthday to you. It's her birthday. And it's my cousin Nico's birthday, my little brother. So happy birthday to Nico, happy birthday to Ari, happy birthday to Gammy Miller, and happy birthday to any single one of you whose birthday it may be today. Or if you have a loved one whose birthday is today, send them a happy birthday from me and with love. So happy birthday to everybody out there. So grateful to be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal, folks, coming to you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. Also on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building. I call it the Manlius Welcome Center. You can't miss it. You come into Manlius, there's a giant brown building striped right in front of you. It's a double-decker cafe. It's fantastic, and I love being there. Love doing live broadcasts from up top, shouting it out to everybody at Cafe Kubal. And, of course, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location. So make sure you check that out today in North Syracuse. So get out to Cafe Kubal, support local, let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. Try the new menu. And get pumpkin spice because it is there in droves, and I love the pumpkin spice. I went out already last week with Rob Conrad, last to wear number 44 at Syracuse, and him and I got some good stuff at Cafe Kubal, and I got my pumpkin spice chai, which is fantastic, and I was able to sip on that. I save a little bit of it. I don't drink it all in one day. I save it so I can have some of it in the studio. Had a nice time with my pumpkin spice chai. You can go out and get your favorites from Cafe Kubal today, and if you've never been to Cafe Kubal, well, it's time to go out there and pick a favorite. Find something that you love and go out and get it today where sports meets life. Of course, Wake Up Call here with you, with the wonderful companies of Central and Upstate New York, Cafe Kubal being one of them, and our exclusive studio partner. We thank you for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in these Cafe Kubal studios every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. You can also find us on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So, with that being said, we got a minute here. I do want to make a very special note. Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, a lot of great things going on. The selection show was men's team and women's team for soccer. And so they had their selection show. You know that last season for men's and women's basketball at Bryan and Stratton, I was there for their selection show. And I got to enjoy that and all the good that comes from that. So we got to be a part of the selection show for the first time ever. We got to see the men's basketball team make it in Danny Frasina's final season as the head coach there, and we got to see the women's basketball team make it once again in what would be the final season with Clay Gagan Sherman as their head coach, as he's now the men's basketball head coach, and women's basketball is now with Tay Baker, who was an assistant on the women's team under Clay last season. So I got to do their selection show, very excited to be a part of that, and I got to be there for the men's and women's soccer selection show yesterday for the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse as well. So I've gotten to see the selection shows for both men's and women's basketball, and I got to support and be there for the selection show party for men's and women's soccer, and my conversations, my exclusive talks with Nick Dmitrievsky, the AD and men's soccer head coach and reigning national champion head coach. He'll be joining me on Friday. Alex Grigorita, the assistant AD and women's soccer head coach and reigning national champion head coach, will also be joining me on Friday as well. So this Friday, November 4th, a doubleheader with the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats, Nick Dmitrievsky of the men's soccer team, Alex Grigorita of the women's soccer team, speaking on their seeding, which they both got the second seed. So pretty cool here. Reigning national champions, friends. Alex played for Nick, and now they're both going into their tournaments, respectively, in Virginia Beach, Virginia, this coming week as both the number 2 seeds, with an opportunity at another national championship to come home for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. So a lot of great stuff going on at Bryan and Stratton, and with that being said, the women's basketball schedule has been released today, and I'm happy to share it with you. So we know that the women's basketball team at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse has plenty of games coming up. They will be playing this weekend on neutral court. On November 5th and November 6th, they will start off their season here, and that'll be this Saturday and Sunday. They'll have their first home game on November 13th at noon Eastern Time. November 13th at noon Eastern Time is not this Sunday, next Sunday. So next Sunday on November 13th, they will be going into their first home game of the season at noon Eastern Time, which means it's the first home game with Tay Baker as the head coach of the team. So make sure you come out and support your Bobcats and Tay on that. And if you can make it out on neutral ground this November 5th, it's Tay Baker's first game as the head coach of the women's basketball team at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. The women's basketball team will have, and I'm going to go through this here, and the men's team as well. I want to make a note of this. So there's a bunch of games coming up here, and I want to make sure that I let you all know that the home doubleheader is going to happen here for the men's and women's team for Bryan and Stratton College basketball. Doubleheader home games, Bryan and Stratton women's basketball at noon and men's basketball at 2 on November 13th, which is also the day that the men's and women's soccer teams would play down in Virginia Beach, Virginia, their national championship games. If they are moving on to those games, they would play them there. So you got 4 teams in action for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse, potentially, God willing, on November 13th. So that'll be going down, and we got a bunch of doubleheaders. The men's basketball team will be in action on November 14th on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time as well. And then from there, we will see more action for these teams, as we will have in December. We're going to have another doubleheader. Bryan and Stratton women's basketball December 2nd on a Friday. They'll tip off at 4 p.m., the men at 6 p.m. And then women's basketball on December 3rd at 4 p.m. will also be going off here. These are the home games I'm reading off for you folks. There's plenty of away games, but I'm reading off the home games so that you have these for you. Bryan and Stratton men's basketball will be home as well on December 10th, which is a Saturday, at 6 p.m. And then we'll have a doubleheader a day before on December 9th at 4 and 6 p.m. for women's and men's basketball. So a lot of great games coming up and through January and February, and God willing, past then in the postseason for men's and women's basketball at Bryan and Stratton. But this morning, the women's basketball schedule has been released for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. You can check it out on all of my social media outlets, and Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. So make sure you check that out this morning, and you can check it out on this fast break, as we'll take one final fast break before we get ready for the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. For those of you on YouTube and Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, we're going to be shifting into a new video after this fast break, so be prepared for that, as we'll be bringing you fantasy football advice for in all of Week 9 in the NFL for this 2022-23 season inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, where sports meets life.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our
corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse. You can also find Cafe Cubal by going out to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location. And I implore you to do that today and make sure you support local. So I appreciate you so very much and definitely look forward to having you out at Cafe Cubal. With that being said, we're going to end this video on YouTube and Facebook, start a new one for fantasy football. So for those of you with us here, make sure you follow us to our new video momentarily.